Welcome to the Belly Dance Stories podcast, a multimedia production directed by Alexandra Molina and Valerie Molinari.
You will hear inspiring conversations and learn about the ways belly dance has become a powerful channel of transformation in people's lives.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to our Shimmy Social. Welcome to our interview with Arielle. We're super excited. Belly Dance Stories is a community. We are, the Shimmy Socials are more for women's networking and dancing and classes. So every Shimmy Social is going to be just a little bit different. So this one, we have an interview with Arielle, which we're very excited about. She is here visiting us from Egypt. You'll get to know her and her story a little bit more if you don't know it yet. And after this, we're just going to turn down the lights, put our costumes on, and party. So we thank you so much for being here. And anything that you have questions about, keep it in mind for Arielle so that we can open the floor for any questions that you have afterwards. Val, I'm going to pass it over to you.
This is the first live podcast of Belly Dance Stories. And what a better way to start than with Arielle. That for those of you that don't know her, she's actually a dancer with a long career here in Florida. She started in Orlando, and then how many years you lived here in Miami?
I think four.
Four very powerful years where she had a huge impact in our community. And it's been 6 years since she moved to Egypt. And now we have her here after an amazing weekend of events. Arielle, tell everybody about your belly dance story.
From the beginning?
Yes. Well, my belly dance story started when I was a kid, actually. I'm originally from Florida, but I moved to Egypt when I was 10 years old because of my mom's job. She works for the government, U.S. government. And by some accident, we had like a school after school thing going on at my school, and for some reason I was cast as the lead in an Egyptian dance production. Within my first few months of moving to Egypt, as this little white girl with blonde hair, blue eyes. My natural hair is blonde. Don't tell anyone. That's a big secret. Edit that out. I'm kidding. Okay.
No problem.
So I was kind of forced. I didn't even want to. I was kind of forced to learn basics of belly dance and folklore, and even men's folklore and women's folklore as a kid. And I didn't really do much with it. I danced all kinds of different styles of dance. I preferred to do hip hop and stuff. But we danced socially because it's Egypt. And then I moved back to America in high school because our contract was up. I didn't dance for a long time because my doctors wouldn't let me. I had a lot of deformities in my legs and my bones, so I actually had to stop dancing at 15. And then at 18, when I graduated high school, I was like, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I need dance in my life. So I knew I couldn't do hip hop and ballet with all my knee issues. So I'm like, let's do belly dance. I like belly dance. Belly dance is cool. And that's when I started with Orlando Belly Dance with Suspira. Maybe some of you guys know her. And then I started training and made it into the professional company like within the first few months. And I've been crazy ever since. And it's opened a lot of doors for me to study other styles of world dance, samba, and all kinds of other crazy stuff. And so I started my professional career there. 19 was my first gig, and I'm 37 now. I moved to Miami in 2015. Yes. And I worked at Belly to Abs and Creative Hips. Mm-hmm. which is Kelly and Valeric's beautiful studio. And then because of some life circumstances, I had to make a choice. Am I going to stay in America or am I going to leave? And I chose to leave to live my dream in Egypt.
I want to do a little recount about your dance history. So you started in Orlando in a studio that do a lot of recitals that I feel gave you a really good base on teaching skills.
Yes.
And then you moved to Miami, but when did it happen that you participated in Dina's famous belly dance competition in Egypt? And I want all the tea about your experience in that competition. For the people that don't know, several years ago, the famous Egyptian dancer Dina decided to do kind of like America's Next Top Model, but with belly dancers. And she put Egyptian dancers, certain foreigner dancers, all from different nationalities to compete on national TV. And guess who was in that show? Who made it to the top 5? The tea.
All right. So, being on this show, it's called El Rakissa, which is just the belly dancer, was absolutely another thing by chance. I was contacted by a friend of mine in 2014. She's like, hey, our buddy Ahmed from school, he's involved in this dance show, and he wants you to audition. Send in a video. And Ahmed was just one of my classmates at school when I went to school in Egypt, and he happened to be a producer on this show. And they remembered from Facebook that I was a dancer. So I sent in the video, Dina okayed it, and we were off to Egypt within a few weeks. Yes, so this was 2014, February, and it was 2 months of daily filming, daily chaos, daily drama. Egypt is a high-stakes environment in general. People are very hot-blooded, right? And you're bringing people from all over the world to be on a reality TV show that's also a dance competition. It was chaotic. It was not the best organized. Dina was a judge. We had an actor as a judge, and we had another actress as a judge. So we only had one actual dance judge, which was Dina. We had there were 27 dancers at the beginning. Half of them were Egyptian. We had a lot of Russians, people like Oksana, if you guys know her. We had Sahar, yes, Sahar Samara. She was one of the top girls, incredible artist. Some girls from France, a couple from England. Only one South American dancer, which was Brenda. A lot of these dancers who made it towards the top ended up moving to Egypt shortly after the show, but I got married instead.
It happens.
It happens, but when that marriage ended, I went right back to Egypt. So, but it was a crazy, crazy time. Like, I really learned what it meant to like work in Egypt, all the frustrations that come from that, like not having control over your music, your costuming. You're up all night till 5 a.m. filming and then up the next day and like working group numbers. Dina choreographed group numbers for us, and half of those girls had never danced in a dance company before, in a group. So it was really frustrating. And a lot of the Egyptian dancers were physically fighting.
No way.
Physically fighting. Yeah, physically fighting. But that was just with the Egyptians. The foreigners, we all tended to get along. But it was just pure chaos every single day. It was a beautiful experience. And I'm so grateful I did it. And they never did another season.
I wonder why.
They said they were going to. All that's on YouTube, by the way. We can set up a link for you guys. What more is there to say? I mean, I did well. I was 6th place, not 5th.
Okay, sorry.
But it was the finals. So
Yeah.
Ala Kushnir, she's the one who ended up winning. There's a lot of politics. Yeah.
Do you think that your cross training in other dance forms and other art forms helped you?
I mean, it helps any dancer, but definitely, like one of the things they wanted me to do on Egyptian television was belly dance with fire. I went home the next episode, so I think they were holding out. I don't know. But yeah, definitely different styles really helped. But we did mostly like Egyptian, except the Hatshepsut number, the pharaonic number they made me do. It was me and Sahar against each other with some very non-belly dance music. I won that day. Even though I think Sahar's one of the best belly dancers in the world. But because I did cross-training in theatrical dance and modern dance, I was able to do something different than she was. And I think that's the only reason I won that weird song. You'll look it up and you'll be like, it's a Rada Troupe song, but it's not for belly dance at all. There's a lot of crazy things, but yeah, it definitely helped, for sure.
Very cool. It's like pulling out a wild card, in other words, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were able to grab that and then use it. Okay. Do you miss it? Do you miss being on that show, even though it was chaotic?
No. It was like 7 days a week filming, morning and night. You're all together all the time. You're rooming with other competitors. As much as I loved my roommate, she would smoke all night in the room, on her phone all night in the room. You know, all the production people fighting with each other. It was a lot of chaos. But it was fun to do like group numbers, do like a group Shamadan, candelabra number with Dina, and get to meet all these people. You
Very
know?
cool.
Yeah.
So that was 2014, right?
Yep.
And then fast forward, what's the year that you moved to Egypt and how did you get there? What was that transition like for you?
I moved to Egypt. Well, I moved to Miami first. Okay. And Miami was in 2015. And then 2019, like I said, there were some life changes. And I really just went on my own because I know the language. I know the people. I know what it's like to work and deal with these people in good and bad ways. I don't recommend that for most girls. I really, really highly recommend against it. But I had been wanting to move back to Egypt since I left Egypt as a teenager. So it's like all the circumstances lined up. And I took myself. I had a manager. He helped to get my foot in the door at some like basic places, like all the dancers start on boats and all these terrible places. But I brought myself. I paid for everything. I rented my house. I did everything. I had contacts, but no, I didn't have a lot of help, for sure.
What would you change? Would you change anything if you would go back to that younger Arielle? Would you give her some advice?
No,
Just do it.
no. I mean, I was so well informed on what it's like to be a human in Egypt, what it's like to be a female in Egypt. I knew what it was like to be a dancer in Egypt, but I had to live it for myself. I really wouldn't change anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go over, Arielle, about the way you have to adapt your dancing from coming from a place like Miami that has a different set of standards and demands for you as a performer to then come into the Cairo scene that obviously Egyptian Arab audience are looking for other specifics when it comes to performance. How was that transition for you? What did you learn? What's the difference between one place and the other one?
Well, I mean, here in the States, you're primarily dancing for customers, clients who are not of the culture, primarily. Yes, we have our gigs and our weddings and our Lebanese restaurants and whatnot, but most of the people you're working for are non-Arabs and non-Arab speakers. So you have to entertain harder here, right? You have to do more tricks. You have to do all the props. In Miami, you got to do fire, really. But here you have a lot more of a range that you can dance to. Lebanese music, Greek music, fusion music. There's so much you can do here that in Egypt, usually they're not cool with. There, There's two main ways to dance in Egypt. There's the sexy way, and then there's the more feeling way. There are girls who are super famous and super popular who only do the sexy way, and there's a client base for that, right? Discos, nightclubs, cabarets. They want to see a sexy dancer. They don't care if you know the history of that song. They don't care if you know the lyrics. And a lot of the foreigners do well there because they don't speak the language. There's people like me who speak the language-ish. Okay, I'm not fluent. Where you're dancing for the clientele who wants you to know all the lyrics to the song. They want you to interact. They want you to connect. They want you to feel with them and vibe with them, not show off to them. So there's these two main things. Some are good at both, right? But here it's more about entertainment in Miami. In Cairo, entertainment or the feeling. That makes sense?
Yeah, that audience connection.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like here we have to really push for the props and the veils and all of the things that they don't use, in traditionally speaking. I mean, there's not many props anyway. So, but over here we have to please, we have to, people please. They don't really know how to feel because there's a language barrier too. So it's different. It's not neither good nor
Right,
bad,
it's different.
I think, but it's just very different. Yeah, I remember seeing you. You're such a versatile dancer, very versatile in not just the technique and your range, but also with props. So what is it like transitioning from that world, from the U.S., with all of these things that you had to do, add on to your show versus going over there? It's almost like you're becoming like a minimalist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so when I left to Egypt, I sold most of my props. I sold a lot of my fire props, but I took some with me thinking, maybe sometimes. I've been hired specifically because I can do those things in Egypt, but there's only a few opportunities and locations where you can do like something wild. Or if you're doing a show at any disco or anywhere, you can get away with one prop. That's it. It's not a whole production. There's not like wings and veil and finger cymbals and all of these things. Maybe one per show is fine. So there was definitely I was expecting that. I wasn't expecting actually to use as many props as I ended up doing because the modern, like the more discos and modern culture, the younger people are cool with that kind of thing. But if you just break out veil poi at like the stage show with the band, you're going to get laughed off the stage. They're going to be super confused.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I took some props with me, but you don't need any. Some places don't want any specifically.
And they ask you, or they tell you that before,
Yep.
right?
Or you do it once, they're like, nah, we don't want a show. We just want you to dance. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't want a show. We want you to dance. Very different vocabulary than here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
Very interesting.
Let's go over your teaching career because I was talking with somebody here. I know she left. About how good of a teacher you are, and you have continued to teach online, keeping your connection. And now that you're coming back, you're definitely a great resource for dancers, since you're coming with all this experience. And where do you see your teaching career? How much of teaching are you doing nowadays? And how has Egypt also influenced the way that you teach this dance now?
It's a big question.
It's a big question,
Yeah,
sorry.
a lot. Yeah, I'm going to forget all the aspects. My brain, I have the super, super analytical side. Some of my students know that. Everything has a place. And then I have like the feeling and the emotion and like the musicality. So I think I'm able to offer both of those in a nice balance for my brain. I had a lot of really good role models, like Suspira at Orlando Belly Dance. She's not teaching anymore, and that studio is no longer there. But like I owe her everything she didn't teach me how to be a teacher, right? She was just such a good role model. The way she taught, the way she broke it down, I absorbed so much from her. But there is a difference in how you would teach like Americans and how you would teach, say, Egyptians, because I do have Egyptian students, but we train privately or it's at ladies' studios. So there's definitely a difference in how you teach a foreign audience and an Egyptian audience, because the Egyptian audience, they already know everything, as in they've seen all the moves before. They have an idea on how it's done. They know why it's done to this particular music. They know what the rhythms sound like. But some of them don't know the exact mechanics. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So some Egyptians actually like you to break it down because they're like, finally, someone can break it down. And then the other Egyptians just want you to like vibe with them, which you guys saw, right?
Sasso Studio, yeah, in Cairo, yeah.
Yes. So, okay, let me take it back. So I started teaching at Orlando Belly Dance at some point. I don't remember the year. And I started teaching belly dance. And then she's like, can you teach the ballet? And can you teach the burlesque? And can you? So I started feeling more confident and teaching all kinds of different styles and, you know, training groups. And then I came to Miami with Belly to Abs and Adriana. And she was also such a good role model. Like how, in every way, in business, in how to relate to different people, how to organize your classes. I just feel like I had so many good role models, and I'm so lucky. Did I answer the questions?
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us a little insight on dancing and teaching in ladies-only spaces in Egypt?
So I know you guys were recently there, and you saw the magic that nobody gets to see. Mm-hmm. So there is a huge market in Egypt for ladies-only spaces. So this is gyms, but also homes. So most of my work is in homes, ladies only, but this all applies to gyms as well. It's a special space where women can let loose. They don't have to worry about men looking at them. They don't have to worry about getting in trouble for dancing, because in a lot of cases in Egypt, even if you're covered, even if you're wearing hijab, if you're dancing socially, you can get in big trouble. Even if you're not doing anything that we foreigners see as bad. So with cell phones, so many women have lost their jobs or gotten in really, really big trouble because they're dancing socially at like their office party or something. Mm-hmm. But at ladies only spaces, it is like accepted, it's known, like you're not allowed to film us. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can film the dancer with her permission. So much happens there where the women let loose, and you can see how Egyptians dance. It's one of the few places you can see how Egyptians dance, Egyptian women. Because even in public, they're holding back, usually. But as you saw, like you can see like the real deal moves, the way they react to the music, the way they express the gestures. They can get wild too, by the way. Right?
Very wild. And a discussion that we had after, because I did a tour to Egypt in January, and we went to the Sasso studio that you also have taught in there, is that there's always these discussions in Facebook about belly dance being classy and not being sexualized. And then when you go to these ladies' parties, like everybody is dancing very sexy. And that's the best part. So yeah, it is they're very powerful spaces. And we want to say that for us with Belly Dance Stories, the Shimmy Socials got really inspired by that energy that we saw in those bodies. So I guess that a lot of it does, people don't see it online. The other day I was teaching a class and somebody told me, we gotta dance here for them because they're not allowed to dance. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, girl, they dance even better than you. You just don't see them. But that doesn't mean that because it's not online, it doesn't exist. So, yes, Ladies' Spaces events are super powerful.
The best.
And that's a big deal where we talk about that not everything is online. It's very important to know that. And I think at these types of ladies only events is when you really start to understand that it's very valuable to get off of your device and into the space that you're in, because you have a much greater connection, in addition to this dance coming from a social space, social tradition. Interactive, making eye contact with your fellow dancers around you. So it's really special that you get to do that, and that's part of your work, because even though again it's not online, it's very much a part of your story. It's very much a part of you helping to share their essence in different ways. And yeah, it's very powerful.
Yeah, and I always tell, like, when people come to Egypt to visit, whether it's a tour, whether it's a dance event, you guys know, I'm always inviting people to the henna parties and the ladies events, because it's stuff you're not just going to be able to go to. They're usually private unless it's a gym. And it's the best, most Egyptian authentic experience you can have. It's not made for stage. It's not a folklore troupe. It's not a disco. It's ladies only private spaces. You went with me as well. Yeah, so if you come to Egypt, like, contact me, I'll bring you. Yeah, I'll come on down. I have these shows almost every day. So
I was very impressed by the Sasso Studio experience, because these ladies would start with casual clothes, right? Everyday clothing. They were not, covered. And then little by little, they would trickle out, and then they would come back in with one costume, Then a few moments later, they left, and then I see them come back in, and it's like costume number 2, but even more scandalous. It's like bra, skirt, high heels. And then they left, and then they came back with a third costume, and then in between there was a small show. There was a little troupe that did I don't know if that's common in almost all of them, but there was a group of dancers who did a Saidi number, and then they did a Malaya, I think, right? And then they did a Debka. They went in and out. So the whole time it was just party after party after party. And if you sat down for just one moment,
you were not allowed. No. They will come and take you.
They'd be like, no, come dance. They're like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I'm dead. Yes.
that's how it is, for sure.
They party hard. They party hard.
They really do. They really do. Okay. So shall we open it up to?
Yes.
Yeah. We would like to open it up to the floor, and you're welcome to come up to the microphone if you want to ask a question, or I can just repeat the question, which is absolutely fine. Would anybody like to ask something to Arielle or comment? Yes?
Are the private parties for the ladies different than the wedding parties?
Are the private parties different are the ladies only parties different from the wedding parties?
In general, yes. Okay, there's different types of weddings for different classes, okay? Some are separated female and women. And some, especially the higher class, middle class, are mixed. But the ladies, what usually happens is we have a henna party where it's just the ladies, okay? The henna party is when at the end the brides get henna, but it's a time where it's only ladies. It's the bride's friends, it's her mom, it's the groom's mom, it's all the aunties and the children. And the bride dresses up in different costumes. And I'm not just talking belly dance costumes. They have the Marilyn Monroe costume. They have the African costume. They have the flamenco costume. And the bride just comes out every few minutes in a different costume. So you guys kind of got that vibe a little bit. Mm-hmm. But that's only for the women. And then for a lot of weddings that are mixed, it's going to be completely different. But both types of those events are very much about interacting with the people. Nobody wants a show at a wedding anymore. No one. Period. You maybe will get to dance a méjancé entrance by yourself, and then it's just it's
Crowded.
yeah. Then it's just about playing with the lyrics, playing with the people, getting the bride relaxed, getting the groom relaxed, getting everyone dancing and enjoying themselves. Yeah, but they're totally different, but also the same. Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay. Yes. What was the name of the show? How do we find it on YouTube?
We're gonna get a link set up on my personal YouTube. I have 2 playlists. Hopefully all the videos are still available. It's been a while. It's 2014. I have a playlist of El Requisa, the TV show, in order, episode by episode. And then I have a playlist of just the episodes I was in. Because not all 27 competed on the same day, right? Think Dancing with Stars, everyone. I don't know. Like, you have your episode, a few girls compete, the next episode, a few girls compete, etc. But it's only in Arabic. There are no subtitles, but you can still get a gist for it, you know? We'll hook you up with the link.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Maria Jose? Yes.
Okay, so given the public attitudes towards women dancing in public, how does that square with you being a female belly dancer who performs in public? And is there any of the same societal pushback towards you, or are you exempted from it because you are a foreign woman?
Trendy topic.
That's a very difficult question to answer in a few minutes. But it's a very good question, and it's very important. So in Egypt, it's against the law to be a belly dancer without working papers, period, whether you're Egyptian or whether you're a foreigner. So that's one thing you have to know. Egyptians and foreigners are treated very differently in the belly dance world. Both get in trouble, but usually for different reasons. Most of the foreigners, we get in trouble for not having these papers because they're really expensive and really difficult to get, and it's just a whole headache. Egyptian dancers tend to get in trouble for a lot of different other reasons. But all in all, it's not accepted to be a belly dancer. Period. Okay? It's seen as one of the lowest kinds of work. It's seen as being completely parallel with sex work, right? That's just how it is, whether you're Egyptian or foreign. Now, the foreigners, we can get away with a lot more than the Egyptians because we don't have families breathing down our necks. We don't have to hide our job from our families. We don't get kicked out of our houses when our dad finds out we're a dancer, right? We don't have to do our makeup at another location to be able to go to work. Most of us can do that in our homes. Most of us are away from our families. The societal pressures for an Egyptian dancer are just so immense and so complicated. But either way, what you're doing is not allowed. Even if you have the work papers and you're legally allowed to dance, society views you as trash. It doesn't matter if you're the most elegant stage dancer who covers her body. You're still using your body to make money. As a foreigner, I also can't tell my neighbors what I do for a living. I would get kicked out of my house. I would lose my home like that in an instant. So it's you have to live this secret life. If you're wealthy and you can be wealthy and be a belly dancer, by the way. If you're one of those super, super popular dancers and you have money, you can own your home. Nobody's going to tell you to do anything. You have that protection. Or there's dancers like me. I'm kind of in the middle where I don't want to be famous because then everyone will know me and I will feel unsafe. Mm-hmm. You know, it's such a complicated issue. But there's consequences for being a dancer in Egypt, no matter where you're from. You can go to jail. You can be deported. And you are often.
So how does that pan out for someone, let's say, who's visiting Egypt, and who goes to, let's say that we have a group of women who go to the nightclub together and are dancing. Is that also forbidden, or is there an exception because they recognize that's a tourist who might not know better?
So the question is, how does that work for tourists who are dancers, who are coming over to learn and study and dance? Is that correct, Kendra? Sort of? Or just to visit?
You are exempt. You are fine. They acknowledge that you're a tourist. You're free to do whatever you want, honestly. You're protected just because you're a foreigner, to be honest. Us foreigners get a lot more respect and freedom. But even if you're not there to be a belly dancer and you're just dancing socially, it's totally fine. It's totally fine, especially at nightclubs and stuff. Everyone there is also dancing socially, men and women. But you're not going to get in trouble because you're not being paid, and usually you're not in a costume in public. So you're totally fine. No worries.
We have time for one more question.
I always wonder why in the best day of your life, the wedding, you hire a sexy belly dancer.
Why do you hire a sexy belly dancer on the best day of your life,
Your
wedding?
Okay. So belly dance is a part of the culture, right? Even though it's considered one of the lowest jobs you can have, it's still such a part of the culture that it is involved in all celebratory events. Weddings, parties, birthdays, even traditionally we have like a baby naming ceremony. Like there's a lot of different things. Some brides will be very rude to you. This has only happened to me a couple times where I was not allowed to even look at the groom. Or her, really. But it's such an important part of the community events because you are loosening people up. I've heard from Egyptians that some parts of society hired the belly dancer to like really loosen up the bride and the groom for certain activities later.
Ahí está.
That's what we Americans and foreigners don't know, right? There is a sexual aspect to belly dance, and most of your American teachers are telling you there's not, and that's not true because they just don't know better.
That's the tea.
And also, along that line, it's not part of the question, but along that line, like women are belly dancing for their husbands in the bedroom. That's something we also don't talk about or acknowledge here. It's like a pet peeve of mine. Okay. So some brides, they get jealous, right? But most want you there just as much. Like it's usually the groom who's more shy about it than the brides. The family wants you there to loosen everything up. So maybe not all aspects of society are that more sexual, like loosening up nature. It's just a part of the celebration now.
Like symbolic too
Yeah.
of that love that is about to be consumed and like
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading with the hands. I remember reading in Grandmother's Secrets. If any of you have read the book Grandmother's Secrets, yeah, it's was a part of fertility ceremonies, and that's one of the conversations of the many conversations of what Rakşarki is, Rakçbeledi is. Yeah, I mean, it's just that in some Western cultures we're very prude, and things can get very misconstrued, and the context gets lost. But context is everything.
Yes.
Continue.
I mean, just what she said, context is everything. It depends on your audience. It depends on your location. You're not dancing for the husband in the bedroom the same that you're doing it on stage with the band in front of, there's a time and place for all different styles and aspects, from the raunchy to the super elegant, fancy belly dance, you could say.
Yeah, I guess that the final thought. Sorry.
You know, that's fine. Do it. I'm holding
It's
my thought.
like dance can have so many meanings in people's life, in people's ceremonies, in people's interactions, and that's the beauty of it. That it can be sexy, it can be sexual, and that it can also be communal, and then it can also be spiritual, and it can also be grieving, and all of that.
Actually, yeah, along the lines of that, I was going to say that it's all of the facets of what a woman can be. It's all of that. You know, we are not just the maiden, we're the mother, we're the crone, we're all of those archetypes. And that's the beauty sometimes that, like, I see, at least. I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but that's what I see with this art form, is that we are able to be all of those. It just context. How are you going to take that out? You know, when are you going to take that out? For what? So we're privileged that we can talk about that and we're able to express that, but, you know, some places you're not able to.
Yeah, so that's like such a beautiful way to kind of wrap up, because most of us here are belly dancers. Like, you, please be thankful of the freedom that you're given, and that you're in this art form where you can play all of those roles anytime you want. It's such a beautiful, special thing.
Thank you so much, Arielle. This was beautiful. And thank you to everybody else as well. Of course, you can continue the conversation at our party now that we're going to start playing the music, and ask Arielle more questions. Shop at Arielle's boutique over there. And I think we are done, yes? Okay. Thank you. Time to party.